I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Let's move on. Continuing in the topic of chords and cadences, we move on to grade 5 Discovering Music Theory, page 47. And in exercise 3, we're asked to describe the cadence, and we can only do that once we've discovered what the chords are, and the only way we can discover what the chords are is by first of all discovering what the key is. If you're describing some chords and they just don't fit at all and you can't find the primary chords or chord 2 that we're after, chances are that it's because you've got the wrong key. So let's look at this one and we can see how to work out. And so it's really simple if you just take things one step at a time and you get your groundwork set out. And so here we could be in C major, a key signature of nothing, or we could be in A minor. It could be either one of those, A minor or C major. However, we find that because here we have a G, it's a G natural, it's not been raised, it's not the 7th degree of the minor scale raised, and so therefore it must be C major because the A minor would require the 7th degree, which falls into chord 5, to be raised, and because that's not the case we can be sure that it's C major. And so if we just map out our chords, so we're looking for options between chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. So in C major, chord 1 is built on C, chord 2, the 2nd degree of the scale is D, the 4th degree of the scale is F, and 5 is G. And so building our triads on that, we've got C, E, G, D, F, A, F, A, C, G, B, D. Bit of squish there. If you find that difficult to do, you could always just use the piano keyboard, just quickly sketch one out. C, 1st, 3rd, 5th, D, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 4, 1, 2, 3, the 4th step of the scale, and then build your chord, 1st, 3rd, 5th, chord 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then build your chord 1st, 3rd, 5th. And we know that we've got it right because the 5th part, the 1st, 3rd, 5th built on chord 1 gives us the 5th degree of the scale, which is the basis for chord 5. And don't forget, this is a triad of 3 notes, but we're going to be duplicating to make 4 notes. And here we have an F, a C, an F and an A. And we can see that's chord 4. And then we have a G, a B, a D, and then the G is duplicated at the top, which is chord 5. And we know from the previous page that we've just studied that chord 5, anything to chord 5, is an imperfect cadence because it just leaves us hanging. It doesn't sound finished at all. So let's look now at this next one. So it could be E minor, or it could be G major. If it was E minor, we would require a raised 7th, which would be a D sharp. There is no D sharp, it's a natural. There's an absence of a sharp, therefore it must be G major. And so our chords are, we're choosing from chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. If G is our tonic, that's the root note of chord 1. So G is 1, A is step 2, C, we're missing 3, we don't use 3, and then 5. So we've got C and D, 4 and 5. Now we build our triads, first, third, fifth, first, third, fifth, first, third, fifth, first, third, fifth, building our triads, and we can see there's chord 5 built from the end of chord 1. So that's all the kind of the laying out of all of the clues. If you've got the wrong chords, they don't match, you've got the wrong key. And if you've gone for the minor key, the chords won't fit at all, and then you'll know that you need to be in the major. So we have a D, D, F, A. Of course it's an F sharp, but your key signature deals with that. And that tells us we're in chord 5. And then we have a G, D, G, B. There's a chord 1. And so 5 to 1 is the perfect cadence. So it's just remembering these chord progressions. So we have imperfect, we have perfect 5 to 1, and of course we've got the plagal, which is 4 to 1. Perfect is the one that sounds completely finished. It's kind of the ta-da, big finish, close, everything's rounded up and everyone's gone home kind of sound. So that's that one. So if you feel like you've got the gist of it, do continue through these on your own now. It's okay to learn by your mistakes. I do suggest you just have a go. I'm hoping you've had a go. And if you're not ready, perhaps watch these last 2 with me and then definitely try the last few on your own. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. You can always just erase it out and have another go. So here we've got a key signature of B flats. It could be D minor or it could be F major. D minor would require a C sharp as a raised 7th. However, here is C natural, and so that must be F major. There is no raised 7th, and so now we can map out our chords. So let's do that here, a bit more room. So we've got chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. If we're in F major, chord 1 is built on F, G, A, B, C. Of course it's B flat, but your key signature will deal with that. Build our chords, B, D, F, C, E, G. So let's see what we've got now. We've got a B flat, a B flat, a D and an F. So that's chord 4. So it could go to chord 5 or it could go to chord 1. Let's see what happens. We have an F, an A, a C and an F, which is chord 1. Chord 4 to 1, it does sound finished, but it's the slightly more gentle close. It sort of melts down from 4 to 1, and that's our plagal cadence. So let's see what's happening here. So we could be in D major, we could be in B minor. B minor would require the raised 7th of an A sharp. That's not there. So it must be D major. And so our chords 1, 2, 4 and 5, starting with D as chord 1. Then we have E, G, B. They are degrees 1, 2, 4 and 5 of the scale. Then we build our triads, DFA, EGB, GBD, BDF. Of course, we've got F sharps and C sharps. We don't need to worry. Your key signature will deal with that. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a D and an A D and an F sharp. That's chord 1. And then here we have A, C. Of course, it's C sharp and E. Oh, silly me. You see, that proves I've written my chords out wrong. Went back as G, B, D. Chord 5 is built on the 5th, A, C, E. That makes more sense now. There we go. I should have done my double check, shouldn't I? A, C, E. And that's chord 5. There we go. That makes sense now, doesn't it? And so that nicely proves the point. If you just map everything out, it soon sorts itself out if something doesn't make sense. And so because it's ending on a chord 5, it's an imperfect cadence. It doesn't sound finished, it just leaves you hanging. And so have a go at these on your own and we'll just check through these together. I'm hoping you've just been brave and had a go. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. So let's see what we've got going on here. So it could be E minor, it could be G major. E minor would require D sharps, that's not there. There are no D's to give us the clue. However, here we can just kind of see what's going on because we've got a G chord here, so it kind of gives us a clue that we're going to be in G major. So let's go with G major. There's no D to absolutely tell us, but the fact that we've got a G major chord here tells us that we're going to be using the G chord. So chords 1, 2, 4 and 5, G, A, C, D, G, B, D, A, C, E, C, E, G, D, F, A. Do my double check so I know I've not gone wrong there at least. So we'll start with this chord. We have a C, G, C, E, and that's making sense. So we know we're in the right key. That's a chord 4, and then here we have a G, G, B, G, 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 B, G. Now notice, actually this is interesting, G, G, B, G. We haven't got the entirety of the triad. We've just got the first 2 notes. This one's missing. However, we still know that this is chord 1. We've got 2/3 of the chord. That's the only option to explain these 2 notes. So instead of having the whole triad, we've got repeated notes duplicated, and it still tells us that we've got chord 1. So in this case, the composer didn't want to give the whole part of the chord, and there are reasons why a composer would do that. We still got the gist. We can still tell it's a chord 1, and so that is our plagal cadence. Let's move on. And so here we could be in D major or we could be in B minor. And actually, although I see at the top that it does tell us we're only going to be in major keys, but there's no harm in just looking at how it could work out, because we're just kind of getting our eye into how we can decipher what key we're in. And so it could be D major or it could be B minor, but B minor would require an A sharp, and because that A sharp isn't there, we've got no raised 7th. It does confirm that we are in D major. So we've got chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. We've written those previously, but it won't hurt to write them again. D, F, A, E, G, B, D, E, F, G, B, D, A, C, E. You could save yourself time and just look at the ones you've written earlier, by all means, although I think it's good practice to just get used to keep doing this. We have an E, a G, an E, a B, and then we have an A, C, A, and again we've got the A and the C, but we've got no E. We have only 2/3 of the chord, but it still gives us enough information to be able to describe this chord. So here we have a chord 2, and then here we have a chord 5, which the fact that it ends on chord 5, it can be anything to chord 5, which will give us our imperfect cadence, which leaves the listener hanging. It does not sound finished at all. It leaves you in suspense. Let's continue with the final 2. And so, of course, we could be in C major or A minor. A minor would require a raised 7th, so this G would have to be sharpened. So we know that we're in C major with a key signature of nothing and no raised 7th. So our chords 1, 2, 4 and 5, C, D, F, G, C, E, G, D, F, A, F, A, C, G, B, D. And so let's see what we've got here. We've got an F, an A, a C and an F. That's all of the notes of chord 4 present. And then we have C, G, C, E. They're all the notes of chord 1 present. So 4 to 1 is our more gentle plagal cadence. It sounds finished, but it's more of a gentle melt away finish. And then here we've got a key signature of B flats, which we know is F major, but if it was D minor, we'd have to have the raised 7th. That C should be sharpened. That would be our clue. But we know that we're in F major, so chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. F, G, B. Of course it's B flat, but we're just counting up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your key signature will do all of the work for you. And C, F, A, C, G, B, D, B, D, F, C, E, G. It's just good practice to keep writing these out. So we have a C, a G and an E. F, C, A, F. So here we have C, G, E. That's our chord 5. And then F, C, F, A, that's chord 1, and that's our perfect cadence. Everything comes to a complete full close. And that nicely brings us to the end. A perfect cadence to page 47. That's that page finished. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons, you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.